Hello friends, my name is Shivam from DevOps Schools and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials or any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopsschool.com. Thank you.
Okay, guys. So let's get started. So first thing what we are going to discuss about today, we're going to focus on the namespace, pods, RC deployment and services. Now, what we are going to do is we're going to learn that which are the list of API objects which we have. So if you look at this here, there is one command which is called API resources. And if I see here qctl API resources, and I see it has a multiple column which includes name, short names, API group, namespace, and kind. Now the question is name, which is here, has a short name, but what is API group? So this is what I was explaining to you, and that is like you have a master server. This is a master server, and in this we have a API server. An API server, you know that we have multiple APIs, multiple APIs. These are the APIs. So what has happened? Initially, few APIs they were not grouping together, but later on they started grouping together. So that is a way to easy to organize the microservices, because API Kubernetes itself is a best example of microservices. They started organizing all these things. So now you see here, this is the total microservices based component, and they are organizing it. So here from now onwards you see that all these groups. Now what is a namespace true and false? So this I'll talk about in some time. Before that, kind. Okay, so kind means what? Kind means if you want to use this API from the YAML file, so you have to use the kind. Simple. Because if you do not specify the kind, how this API server will come to know which API I want, this one or this one? How? So kind is important. So every API when you register at Kubernetes server, again I'm repeating, every API when you register at Kubernetes server, you have to specify the kind, and this is case sensitive. Okay, so this is the kind. Now last point is what is a namespace true. So guys, did you understand the short name, API group, and kind? Everyone?
Yes. Rajesh, can you
Any
explain the
question?
kind again?
Kind is equal to, see, I'll tell you one thing.
Hello.
We have 30 people in this. Yeah, I'm talking. Can you hear me? Can you not hear me?
I can
Guys, can you
hear.
hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I don't know whether he can hear me or not.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. Okay, so kind is equal to something like this. See, we are in this room, we have got 15 people. Now how can I pass the instruction to you? So I have to use your name, right? So in Kubernetes also we have an API server. An API server has a multiple APIs. So how do we know which API you wanted, okay, to avail the services? So for that you have to use the kind. In where? In YAML file and stuff like that. Make sense?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. So kind. Now the question is, what is a namespace? Okay. So let's understand this. There is a cluster. This is the cluster, whole big cluster. Okay. Now look at this here. This is a big cluster powered by multiple machines. One machine, two machine, 20, 30 machines, 40 machines, 50 machines, 60 machines. So it's a one cluster. Remember, I said one statement very clearly. Kubernetes view entire data center as one computer. One computer. So this is a whole one big cluster. So what was happening? There were three projects were running. I'm just trying to visualize that namespace. Okay. So three projects is running. So one pod is running here. One pod is running here. Project one. Okay. Project one, project one, project one. Let me tell you, scheduler has assigned equally to all these machines. Second project is running their pod, and project third also running their pod. Okay. Okay. So far so good, right? Did you understand this how this scheduler run the pods? Anti-affinity, right? Remember, guys? Hello.
Yeah, Rajesh.
Yeah. So please,
Yeah.
guys, involve with this discussion. It's we lost little bit time. We have to compensate. Okay. So now these are the cluster. Now what happened in the project one? There is a bug in the software. So bug in the software and which consuming more CPU and more RAM than expected. So tell me one thing, will it impact the only one machine, or it will impact all machine, all the node of the cluster, all worker of the cluster? Tell me. This has a bug.
Only one.
Only one? How come? How come? See, scheduler has deployed the pod. So this is the same pod, same pod, same pod, same pod, same pod, same pod. You're running in the one cluster, but cluster is powered by multiple machines. So don't you think the pod is running in the each machine? So it will impact every machines. Look at this. This running here, this running here, this running here, this running here, this running here. So don't you think it will impact each machine? Hello, guys, are you there?
Whatever the hello, Rajesh, whatever the machines are
Yes.
using, so that will get affected.
Whatever the machine is going to use, and you know the scheduler
Using the
schedule that yeah, schedule the pod uh, and anti-affinity. By default it can schedule anywhere whichever is available, right?
well, correct. Yeah.
So it will schedule every node. Every nodes will have that pod, right?
Yes.
Are you getting my points? So guys,
Yep.
it will affect all this machine. Because of this, what has happened? Project 2 guys and project 3 guys is shouting at project 1 saying that because of you guys, my downtime is also there. This is a problem. That's the first incident. Second incident, what happened? Second incident, what happened? Uh, project 2 admin by mistake deleted the entire pod or some of the pod to project 3. Now project 3 is shouting because of you I have a downtime. So here if you see that cluster is like a good thing. Cluster is powered by multiple nodes, but multiple projects in terms of allocating the resources in terms of CPU, RAM, storage, access, it's like a risky, because if you work with the multiple projects. So now how do we divide these projects? How do we divide? So then we got the concept of namespace. You can call it subcluster also if you're comfortable, but in Kubernetes we call it namespace. So what happened? Now we divide this whole cluster as a 3 namespace. 1 namespace, 2 namespace. Let me tell you, namespace cannot be created vertically. That means you cannot create a namespace consist of one node. No, it is always horizontal sharing. Okay, this is the namespace. Okay, so how there's one namespace created p1, There's a two namespace created P2 and this is the P3. Now what has happened, this namespace, you can set a limit. You can set a limit. Limit means you can maximum use, no matter how many pod you run it, you can maximum use to 20 GB. You can assign the this admin also. Okay, so guys, did you understand the concept of namespace? Namespace is something similar to subcluster to limit the resources utilization by set of pods for specific business purpose. Are you getting my points?
Yeah. So Rajesh, so quick question. So you said like namespace are horizontally mapped, like so all the clusters parts available in the each nodes, each namespace, correct?
Clusters pod means
No, all the parts available for that
all the pods.
namespace, correct? Available,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. So
Yeah.
now the
So
question is, yeah, please go ahead.
yeah. So so the namespace we created here, which to differentiate. So each class, each machines, correct?
Yeah,
Okay.
got it.
Yeah.
Now the question is, what is a namespace, true and false? So guys, there are certain objects you only have to create inside a namespace. Certain objects, say certain API resources, you can create a cluster wide. For example, you see here pods. Look at this. You can only create inside a namespace, or that node objects. Look at this node object. Somewhere we have node. Here it is. See, node. It's a cluster wide. That's the reason I said node, the one which is, this is a node, this is a node, this is a node, is a cluster wide. Okay, so there are few objects which is a namespace true. There are few objects API resources namespace true or false. Did you understand now namespace? Everyone?
Yeah, so namespace true means those are part within the namespace. If it is
These
false means it's
resources will
outside
be creating
outside
cluster
namespaces,
wide,
right?
cluster wide, not outside, not outside. You can say cluster wide. That means that can be accessible any places, cluster wide. But this pod is created only. It's all about the creation. Okay, so creation only in the particular namespace.
Okay.
Understood? Now namespace label, you can set the resource limit. Namespace, you can assign the admin also, users also. You can give specific access to specific namespaces. Those are the things that can be done. So guys, all are okay with this namespace? If you have okay, can you please say yes in the chat window? I want to just see your participation. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to tell you a little bit more about namespace. So let me undo the things. Guys, what happened? What has happened? What has happened? Now there is a, for each pod there is a namespace. For each pod there is a namespace. So what has happened? Then Kubernetes created one namespace for themselves only. Okay, Kubernetes created one namespace for themselves only, and what they're calling system namespace. Okay, system namespace. Okay, then they are keeping all the pods over there, all the pods which is for the Kubernetes cluster, like API server, controller, scheduler, and all the stuff like. So they're keeping all of their pod. Now next thing is they created one more pod, one more namespace, and this namespaces they made it default. That means those who's not having any namespace, the pods, that I mean you have not created any pods or something like that, by default it will go to the default. Then they created one more namespace, and this is for the pods which is specific to the node's maintenance, node pod. And there is one more pod they created, public, namespace. So they created 4 namespace by default. System for the system related pods, default for all the pods which belongs to no namespace, node which is for the pod which is for the specific for the nodes maintenance, and public for everyone common pod. Okay, so now default means this is the default. So can I show you these namespaces? Look at this. So kubectl get ns, and see here, this is the pod default. By default it will be there, the node, public, system. So these are the four pods you got it created. You can create your own pod, by the way, there's no problem. So now what we have understood is, I learned all these API resources, I can use it. I learned the namespace concept. Now one thing more I need to learn, and that is version. So what is a version? So let's understand this way. This is again API server, master, and this is again API server. Okay, so this is the one API, this is one API, but you know one thing, this API is nothing but a software, and we do multiple releases, right? Every week we have a releases, by the way. Okay, but major releases very less, major releases are very less. So first time I'll develop beta 1, then alpha beta, whatever it is, alpha, then beta, then v1, then v2. So now which one you are using, this one or this one or this one or this one? So what we call it, this is the API version. Are you getting the concept? This is nothing but software. So which one you are using? Are you using v2? Are you using v1? Are you using beta? Are you using alpha? Okay, so this is the versioning of the API server. Now if you are using, let's say, beta, so again you will always want to use beta, because until you migrate your YAML or programs and all. Are you understanding these points, guys?
Yes.
Yeah, so now the question is, how do you specify which version you're going to use it? So guys, let's find it out, because I need your help. Can you help me to find out how do you know which API version I should use it? How do I know which my cluster is supporting, which are the version for the each API?
You should type with kubelet API versions.
Yeah,
You may get
so kubelet
version.
API version. See what it says. Let me read it. Print the supported API version on the server in the form of group and version. Wonderful. So group name and version. So these are the group name which I showed you last command output. You see here, and this is the version. So you see here, networking you have a beta also, and v1 also. You see here, apps you have a v1 only. See here, authentication you have a v1 also, beta 1 also, authorization also same case. See here. So now these are the groups and grouping, versioning by group. But what about those resources which has no group? So look at the last one. Can you see v1? All those belong to v1, those who are not part of the group. Okay, so guys, this is the way you see here. This is the way you will see all stuff. So this is the version. So you have to use the version name also. If you do not use, how this Kubernetes will come to which version you want? Because here this one also there, this one also there, this one also there, this one also there. So you have to specify the version. So when you call this through YAML file, you have to name the resource name, API resource name, and then you have to use the version, okay, and you have to use this minimum to information. And kind, okay, that's a resource name kind only. Okay, so this is the way. So guys, did you understand so far version?
Um,
So these are
Rajesh,
the
I have a
commands
question.
I run. Yeah,
Hello. These versions will
yeah,
keep
go
on
ahead.
change. These versions will keep on change. For
Yes,
example, in
a
YAML file,
different
uh, the- for the pod, I have mentioned some version,
hmm.
but after 10 days,
So no, after 10 days will not change. But see, if you are using this, understand this way. If you are using the same Kubernetes version, you have not upgraded it, so it will
it
not
will
need
get
to
changed.
change.
So I need to keep on look at these versions. I need to keep on update in the YAML file.
No. See, understand the concept. The version will not change if you are using the same Kubernetes cluster. It will change when you upgrade that. So when you upgrade that, then you have to check that this which are the supported version. If you think your YAML is outdated, you have to upgrade it. Or if you want to, if you have to see that if that version is supported by that particular Kubernetes or not. So you have to take this call actually whether you want to upgrade clusters and plus YAML both, or whether you want to upgrade and check that whether earlier version is supported or not. Many cases the beta 1 and b1 b2 all these things will be supported. So if you see here, look at my screen here, in this all these things either a beta 1 or v1, but here you see v2 has also started coming. So auto scaling, you have a v1 also, you can enjoy v2 also, beta 1 v2 beta 2 also. So it's up to you how do you plan this activity. So each version whichever is supported, you can see that here. Make sense? Everyone?
Yes.
Rajesh,
Hello?
hello, Rajesh. Yeah,
Yeah,
so
tell
those
me.
API versions, whatever you have mentioned, all are the inbuilt APIs, which is supported by Kubernetes, correct?
Not Kubernetes, current installation of Kubernetes. If you install
Okay.
older version, you might not get v2. You
Yeah,
might
correct,
not
correct.
get
Yeah.
v2.
Okay. So can we have our the user-defined APIs also with our own versions? Like apps
Yes,
is
yes.
like user-defined, right? Which we created and
No,
deployed
no, no,
to
no.
Kubernetes. Uh,
All these are the community supported one. There's
okay.
none of these are user defined. User defined, so you'll have a CRD. Okay. So if you
Okay.
want to develop your own API resources, you can develop. That's not a big deal. Go programming language, you can use it and develop your own API. See, API is nothing but a one kind of software which receive some input and give you the output. That's all, right?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So in case of whether we need to accomplish something, then we can create our own. Otherwise, we can use the existing one,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah, you can create your own API resources using CRD and Golang, and many ways are there to create a CRD. I mean, your own API resources.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, guys. So now I made you comfortable with these commands and API resources, version, namespace, and stuff like that. Now I'll teach you one magical pattern. And this magical patterns, if you're a programmer, you know that already. But let me tell you here, all these API resources, understand that this magical pattern will be applied on everything. On everything means everything, simple. Okay, everything means all the resources. That means in one go itself, I'm teaching you everything by following this pattern. What is this pattern called? This pattern called CRUD. Have you heard about this? Most of the developers know that, correct? What is the what is the full form of CRUD? Can you help me?
It's a create, read, update, delete.
Yeah. So guys, create. So every API, see, you will request. Every API you will request through YAML file or command line. You will request. But for doing what? So either you want to create some API resources object, you want to create that object, or you want to read it. Okay, you want to read it, or you want to update it, or you want to delete it. Very simple, very simple, nothing great about it. It's nothing we are learning here. I want to create pod, I want to read pod, I want to update pod, I want to delete pod. I want to create RC, I want to read RC, I want to update RC, I want to delete RC. I want to create namespace, I want to read namespace, I want to update namespace, I want to delete namespace. Similar rules apply to all the API resources which I have shown you here. Whatever you want, create, read, update, delete. Guys, will you remember this one? CRUD operation. Now, guys, here two things is here. You can create via two ways. One is like a command line. I love command line. But another one is YAML file. Okay. Another one is YAML file. So you can create through command line. You can create through YAML file. It's up to you. It's up to you. So same thing, I will put it up here and here. But you know one thing, YAML file is not up for reading purpose. So I will delete this because reading is something like you want to list out or something like that. So YAML file is not good. So you want to create it, read it, update it, delete it. So far so clear, guys? Did you understand this?
Yes.
Okay, now I think from here onwards, only I was knowing this one. Rest of the things I need your help. So can we find it out together? How can we create using command line? How can we create using command line? So do we have any options here? Let's check it out. Can you help me?
Create
Can you help
command.
me?
Yeah, create a
Can you help me?
resource from a file or a file from STD.
Correct. It's from file means YAML file or JSON file, or STDN means command line. Okay. So now I got to know for this we have a create command. Wonderful. I got to know. And here, if I do through YAML, create hyphen F. F means file name, and then you have to pass the file. Wonderful. I got it. Now, guys, I want to focus on the read command. Means I want to list out the pods or RC or deployment or something like that. So how do I do that? Any help from you?
Get deployments.
Get get for everything, not for deployment. Everything. Display one or many resources. So here I get it. Wonderful. I get it. Okay, I get it. But you know one thing, I am looking for some more commands. So let's see. I see it's like this. I got the list of pods through this get command. That's okay. But I want to see the pod one pod content. So can you help me here? Any commands which you can find out? One pod. See, all pod, get RC, get NS, get deploy. But actually, I got a one pod and I want to see the complete detail of that particular pod, one particular pod, or one particular RC.
Get pod name.
How can I do that? No, that's I
Describe.
did it. Get describe. Yes, just look at this here. Describe. See here. Describe, show details of specific resource. See a specific resource or group of resource. So describe. So I can use here describe also. Guys, one more thing. Here I want to know the list, the logs of container. How do I know? Because I'm reading, right? Reading. So I want to know the logs of container. Can you help me?
To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan and grow your skills immensely.
Can you help me?
Get logs.
Get logs nahi, kubectl logs, correct? Kubectl. See here, print the logs for a container in a pod. So reading is 3 commands. I got it. See here, reading. I got the 3 commands. Okay, so I will be okay till now. That's okay. You can try a few more commands, but slowly we'll do that. So guys, here you see read, I learned 3 commands. Here I learned 1 command. Now you know one thing, I want to update it. Means some resources are there which I want to update it. So guys, can you help me here? How can I update it? You teach me. You look at this thing. How
Edit.
can I update the resource? Edit. So guys, edit means I can apply through command line, edit. But YAML file, how can I update any existing resources? Yeah, I'm using YAML file. How can I update any existing resources?
We have apply, kubectl apply -7
Apply.
file.
Yes, we have apply. So guys, we have apply also. That's true. Apply you cannot use with the command line. Okay, remember you can use with the YAML. So here you can edit existing thing. Here you can apply existing thing, but this has idempotent functionality. If that is not existing, it will create it also. By the way, so that's the one thing. This will not create. So this has no idempotent. This has idempotent functionality. Okay, good. I got to learn from you 2 more commands. Guys, now I want to delete the resources. So how do you delete? Can you help me?
Delete with name.
Delete. Look at this here. Delete resources by file names, stdn, resources, names, or by resource and label selector also. So many types of delete is possible, but with the command line delete. Okay, so command line delete. And if you want to do through YAML file, delete -f. So guys, in short, we have learned 1 command, 4 command, 5 command, 6 command, 7 command. This will be applicable for all of the API resources, not 1, 2, 3, 4, everything. So please understand this pattern. So that means now you know how to do the CRUD to all of these. All of these. Is that making sense, guys? Is that making sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so guys, now let's move on to do what. So I have to create same rule I'll follow for every time. Okay, so now what I have to do is I have to create namespace. That was the first namespace now. So let me create a namespace. So first time I will do one thing. I am going to kubectl get ns listing. How many we have? This one. How can I create through command line? You can create through this one also, YAML also, but slowly I will incorporate. So kubectl create ns. What ns? Dev. Sorry, this spelling mistake. Dev. Guys, get ns. Dev created. So easy. Nothing I did. Great. Now dev QA. Create QA and Rajesh. Sorry. Rajesh. So get ns. See, 3 namespace I created. So dev I created, QA I created, Rajesh I created. So what is the plan now? So guys, plan is very simple. And the plan is we all are going to work with the same cluster. So for that we need a nodes, more nodes, because we have 15 people. We need a more nodes. So who's going to add a nodes? I am going to add nodes. Okay, I'll take care of it. But how can we add a nodes? You know that very well. How can we set up a cluster? You know that very well. Okay, so I'm going to set up node. But what is the benefit of working together? So we can work together as a team. That will be realistic, scenarios. So what we are going to do? How can we work together? Because we will spoil each other work, right? So no, we will not spoil each other work. Anything, again I'm repeating, first you create your namespace or any resources which you create, like a pod, RC, deployment, services, any storage related, anything you created, create in your namespace, not in my namespace, not in default namespace. Because you, by default, if you do not select your namespace, it will be created in the default namespace. But I don't use my namespace also. So each one of you will create your own namespace and create remaining things also. Okay, so yes, we will do that together in the same server. I'll share the IPs with you. So here I created the namespace. Here I read it. Can I describe it? So here kubectl describe, oops, kubectl describe what? NS. Which NS? Rajesh. Rajesh. And you see here, name is Rajesh, labeled none, annotations none, status active. See here, I told you namespace, you can give the quota. Quota means CPU and stuff like that. How much needs the namespace will be used. For time being, there is no quota. You can also limit range. You can also give us this, you can assign an admin for this access for this particular namespace. So I'll just talk about all these things, complicate slowly, but this I describe. I cannot use logs because there is a reason for it, because it's not a pod, so it will not generate a logs. Okay, pod will generate a log. So for that I hold this. Now you can edit also, and you can apply if you have a YAML. So for example, you can change this command, edit ns, edit ns, and you can modify name. You cannot modify, that's a unique. Okay, name you cannot modify, but you can modify some labels and stuff like that. So here you see, here there's no fields which I can modify, but if you see here, labels none. So you can introduce one field under this here, labels, and then you can modify. So edit, but right now I'm not complicating. Q, see, no changes made. Okay, so I can modify using edit command. But finally I want to delete through command line, and see here, qctl delete what? NS, and I want to delete dev and QA. And guys, I deleted dev and QA. Okay, so this is the way I have to work with the command line. And you see here, qctl get ns is there. Rajesh is there. I need it because all of my resources will go to Rajesh, but it's like this. Did you understand by now how can we use CRUD operation and this pattern for every resources whatever we have? Are we clear on this?
Rajesh, is there any way that we can restrict the deletion of resource, any particular resource, any particular
Yes, access
namespace?
is there. Yeah, so access is there. So right now you are enjoying with the full access, but yes, you can provide those access, and those person, those user who I'm logged in, he will not be able to delete it. So those access by right now you are enjoying the complete super admin permissions with that config entry. But once we go into the RBAC system, RBAC means role based access control, then we'll set up that someone who can delete, someone who can list, someone who can modify, someone who can read, everything you can specify in that. Guys, did you understand that now?
Yes.
Everyone? Okay. Now you know one thing, you need to help me out. You need to help me out. You need to help me out. I want to create next object which is called pod. So can we create it? Let's go ahead and let's create. Remember, pod has a container. Container come from the registry, and like that, an image. Container come from the image, an image come from the registry. So can we create a pod? Now guys, I don't know the command. So let me try to find it out. I will try my best to find out, but you need to also help me out here. So here kubectl, and what is the command to create any objects?
Create.
Create. Now create. After this, what should I write? I don't know. I'm confused a little bit. So if I don't know, then you should ask always -h. Whenever you get confused, you should always use H. Do not refer Google, okay? Do not have a practice of Google. So I am asking, because when you are going for the certifications and all, then in that case, that time, that this website command line and all will, I mean, official website, official documentation and command line will be accessible, but not the Google. So if you practice more with the command line and official website, it will be beneficial for you to find out the answer, because it's an open book exam actually. Okay, so I don't know how to create a pod. So what I did, I remember one thing I remember is -h. H means help. So I want to create help. What I can create? H. So guys, if I do -h, I get some example. That's okay. I'm not interested right now. And here, see, this is, I said it can be YAML or it can be JSON. So it's creating a pod through the YAML file. See, create -f. See, I taught you create -f already. Okay. How we'll write a pod? We'll come to that point. Okay. But for time being, can I create through CMD? I want to, this is example, these are the available options, and this is the options. These are available commands and sub commands, and these are the options. Okay, so many things are there. Please understand that these are the, it will help you. Many options are common across all the objects. So that way, if you learn one properly, you can use it with other format also. These options are very handy. Okay, so anyways, now you see here, these are the commands, sub commands. That means these are the resources. So can I create pod? Do you see, do you think, can I create a pod? Can I create a pod?
No.
What do you think?
No.
Can I
Using
create a
deployment,
pod,
we can
guys?
create.
I can create a using deployment. That's very true. But actually, I'm interested right now in one pod, not in a multiple pod. Yes, through deployment, you can create a one pod also. That's not a problem. But actually, do not want to use deployment API resources. I want to use API resources pod, and I saw that it was there. It was there. I saw that. I showed you also. Pod was there. So can I create pod through command line?
Using run.
Run also you can create, but I'm saying again and again, I want to, run will create a deployment. I do not want to create a deployment. So what do we do now?
To YAML file.
Yeah, so guys, command line is not supported for the pod. I learned that pod cannot be created, but one thing I learned, RC also is not available. I cannot see that, but deployment is there. Okay, deployment is there, namespace is there, rest of the things is also there, but RC and pod is not, no problem. If that is not there, we will create through YAML file. Okay, so let's do that. Let me get a YAML file. Okay, any one YAML will work for us. Okay, so I'm going to copy paste from my previous notes, that way quickly I get it. Okay, so here it's not here. I got it. So guys, look at this. This is the pod.yaml. Look at this. So now I got this pod.yaml here. See here. This is what I was talking about. So whenever you write YAML, you have to write a version and kind. Okay. Now what is the name of the pod? Some label. Pod has a container, right? So what is the pod specification? Spec containers. See here, S is S. So that means here is only one container. You can have a more containers also, like this. Oh, not like this. Like this. There's a now one container, two container. This will fail on same port actually. You have to change that. So by default, Nginx run on 80 port, right? So you have to run some other software like Jenkins or something like that, which is running on some other port, like Artifactory 8080 port or something. So here there's a only one port. So is it very difficult to understand that? See here, pod, containers. There's one container coming from which image? Nginx. Makes sense, guys?
Rajesh, that app colon web server, that is just a name, right? Not a syntax or anything.
No, this is a label. Now label is something like this. Sir, what is your name? What is your name?
Ruben.
Ruben. So actually I want to call you Ruben. No, I don't want to call you Ruben. I want to call you Ru. I want to call Ben. I want to call you some different name. So actually label is basically a way to give additional name, but the thing is you can give lots of name. Here name will be only one, but labels can be multiple. That means you can give more label. If you want to give more label, for example, this is a software. Okay, software. What software? So Rajesh software. Okay, so you can create your own label and give the more label actually. So label will be helping you to identify and categorize those resources, and you can label it all the projects, all the objects, sorry, all the objects. Now label is very important in case of service. Now how it is important, I will talk about the service anyways today, and you will come to know. But yes, you can label it as many times you want it, and you can label it as you want it. Labels always in a form of key and values format, and you can search by a label, you can filter by a labels, you can delete by labels. Remember the delete command by the labels. You can do something, some operation by labels. Many options are there. So labels is just to identify the same resources with the multiple keywords and makes it it's like that. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So by
now I'm
default,
going
it
to
points to the Google registry, right? Because we are referring to a container. So it has to fetch the image from the Google registry by default.
This image, remember here, your container
Yeah,
interface
right.
is Docker.
Yeah,
So when
but
container
the
interface,
image has to be.
yeah.
If the
So
image is
container
not on the
interface is
local,
Docker.
right?
See,
The
see what I'm
image
trying to
it
say.
will pick from the local system, or it will pick from the Google registry.
Okay, okay. See here, the concept of because you asked me and your understanding, I need to correct it. Okay, so let's understand this. So here, what happens whenever you request some command? This is your host, okay, and Docker is running. Okay, So whenever you run any containers, create a container, request it gone to the client. Okay, client sent to the Docker daemon. Okay, Docker client. Now here Docker client is kubectl. Okay, kubectl. So kubectl will send this command to the Docker daemon. Docker daemon will check that image is there in the local repository or not. LR we call it. Okay, it's a varlib Docker. You have a local repository. If it's not there, they will try to download the default registry which is called hub. Okay, so Docker has an inbuilt repository which is hub. So from there they will download the local and then container got created, and on top of that pod wrapper. Okay, this is how it works. Now it will not go to the
Okay.
Google registry because it's a Docker. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Okay. So
if
it
you
will use the
want,
Docker hub itself then.
yeah, it will use the Docker hub. If you think
Okay.
you have this image in the Google registry, then you can give the full path of it. For example, like this, some
Okay.
address,
Okay.
Google
Yeah.
address. So you give the full
Okay.
path. So right now default is Nginx. Okay.
Yeah. Got it. Thank you.
Okay.
If
So
you
guys,
look,
what
if you
I'm
look at
doing
the
right now.
local repository, if it is not found, then only it will go for the Docker hub, right?
Yes, that's correct. First, it will check the Docker daemon will check local repository. If that is not found, then we'll download from the hub to keep it in local, and from the local to create the container.
Yes.
Got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, guys.
Is there any,
So
any
now the
command to
question is,
get the template for this one? This YAML template? Or these are the only options like specs and metadata?
so there is a command for it. Definitely there is a command for it, but I'll teach you one by one. So that way you won't get lost. Don't get scared for this because it's just a matter of habit. Okay, it's a YAML file. It's just a matter of a habit. Once you get a habit, no, then you will not mind. I know that probably first time you say, oh, where is a space, where is a comma, I mean, where is a colon, where is a all this, that, and all. So I don't know what. I'll teach you that one by one. I'll complicate this. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys. So now what we are going to do is we are going to do something, and that something is creating a workspace for all of us. So what I'm doing right now is I am where I am right now, home CentOS, and I'm going to click clone this repository all for all of us. Okay, for all of us. So here git is not there. So yum install git -y. I'm installing. Oh, you need to be sudo, right? And let me do that. So I'm installing git for all of us. Because we have a same workstation, we will work together, but we'll not fight with each other. Okay, we'll work separate namespace. We'll work in a separate directory. I'll show you how can I work. You have to work together. Same way. So here I clone this repository in the user home location CentOS. This is the directory HP. Now guys, inside this directory I will create one file, a directory called Rajesh, mkdir Rajesh. So like that I got my directory here. Like that you will also create your own directory. Let me tell you here, whatever the file you create in your directory, and I will push this every half day, I mean on an interval to this place automatically. I'll push this. I'll add commit push. Okay, so that way you have a code permanently. Whatever you write, you can see that here. Okay, so now I'm going to work as per the rule. I'm going to work in my directory. Okay, so that way you will not touch my directory. I will not touch your directory. Simple. Now I will use my namespace. You will not touch my namespace. I will not touch your namespace. Why? Because we are using same user, and that user has a every access. That is a problem. So understand that. Okay, now we need a more nodes. No problem, I'll keep adding it. Just take 2 to 3 minutes to add a nodes. Manual way, automated way, just to take 30 seconds. Okay, so yeah, so what I'm going to do, I'm writing a pod 1.yaml. Okay, and copy paste it. This code you have it. I'll keep updating it, the notes also. So insert that. Guys, now understand that if I create, understand that this -f, see here, I taught you already this. Okay, I can create pod1.yaml, but any idea if I run this command where this will get created, which namespace? Any idea?
Default.
Yes, guys, default. So do not do that. Do not do that. See, this got created in default. kubectl get pods. Sorry, get pods, right? kubectl get pods, and you see it got created in default. But I don't want to create in default. I wanted to create in namespace, which is called Rajesh. So -n is equal to Rajesh. Please remember this for time being. Get a habit. I will teach you automation also. You don't have to type every time. In a config file, you can change it and it will be effective. But the problem here is we have only one config for all of us. Okay. So do you have anything in any pods in the Rajesh? No. Any pods in the default? Yes. Can I create one more time this? What is this? Can you see that here, guys? What is the error? What is
Already
that?
exist. What is already exist?
So yeah, guys, understand this. The resources and their names should be unique. Not should be. It must be unique in the namespace. Yes, in a namespace. You cannot create same resources, same name in the same namespace, because you don't allow. So that means Kubernetes view this name as a unique identity for that particular resources. Okay, so can I create in my own namespace? Rajesh, I created. Can I create one more time? See, so this way I created in default also, and I created in Rajesh also. So here kubectl get pods -n Rajesh, and see here it's running. Do not run command blindly. Have a logic, okay, and then run it, because I'm going to copy paste all the commands. So yes, you are going to create it. So what I did, I did create it this time, not through command line, but I did through YAML. I read it. Get pods. Can I describe the pod? Why not? kubectl describe what pod, which pod? Hello pod Rajesh. But where? In Rajesh namespace only. And guys, you see all the details. I would request you to go and read each field. You will understand more better way. See here, pod, part of this name. This image is running on the port 80. Everything you have it. Some conditions, some volumes, some events. This is the kubectl events, by the way. Kubelet, sorry, not kubectl. Kubelet events. See here, they successfully assigned. Scheduler assigned this work. Docker started pulling with the help of the kubelet, and then done. So please read this each and every options. You'll build understanding. What I describe also. Can I see the logs also? So kubectl get pods -n Rajesh, and here kubectl get kubectl logs which one? This one. Of which namespace? Rajesh namespace. This is the log of pod of container.
To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 3D99 plan, and grow your skills immensely.
Okay, so I see the logs also. That's good, right? Now can I edit it? I will do the both the thing, edit and apply both. So can I edit it? So go ahead and kubectl edit what pod, which pod, this pod, which namespace, this namespace. What do you want to do? You cannot change the name, by the way. You can change the image though. You can change the image though. But I'm changing only labels. So here Rajesh 2, Rajesh 1. Save it. Guys, you see edited. It's this time edited. Can I describe this time? And see here. Go up and Rajesh. I edited. Now I will do this time through YAML file, pod1.yaml. And this time I'll make it Rajesh 2. Rajesh 2. And you see here kubectl apply -f pod1.yaml -n and is equal to Rajesh and configured. Can I describe now? And you see here Rajesh. So guys, did you see that? How can we edit and how can I apply this? Did you see that?
Yes.
Now I'm going to delete both from the both namespace, one through command line, one through YAML. So kubectl delete. But before that delete, you know one thing, I have not done it, and that is how to use the pod. How to use the pod. So when you see the kubectl get pods, you can see the running. It's in a default -n is equal to Rajesh. This is my Rajesh. I would like to know IP address. These are the many ways are there, many options are there. Show hyphen labels. See here. So white will give you the IP address and which node is running. It will give you IP address, node, and label source. So many options are given. Which command you have to try? Get -h. kubectl get -h and learn from this. Okay, learn from this. You have so many options here. Okay, show labels I tried just now. Wide I tried. -o means output in a format which is called wide. So here many options are here. Okay, so you just try it out, some of the options, play with it. Don't spend too much of time because we have so many objects we have to learn. But whatever I'm saying, be comfortable with it. So now can we use it? So yes, let me get the IP address first of all. So guys, here sorry, I am going to, yes, this is the IP address. So what do we do? How to use it? How to use a pod? So now let's look at this here. Next question, how to use a pod? So guys, either you can go, remember pod is a just wrapper around the containers. Okay, so how to use a pod? So how to access a pods from outside. When I say pod, basically you are accessing the container. In short, don't get misunderstood. Container. So from outside, that's a question. That's one question. And second question is how to go inside. How to go inside a pod from outside. So how to access from outside and how to go inside a pod from outside. So first, let me do that from outside. So here, this is the one, curl HTTP, and you know one thing, this is the one reason I created workstation and mastered in the same node, because this IP address will be accessible only till your cluster. Remember the rules of networking, you hope you remember. Each pod can communicate with the each other pod across the node. Each node can communicate with the other pod across the node. Do you remember that rules without netting? Kubeproxy rule.
Yes.
Yeah. So because of this is the reason I created workstation and mastered in the same, because we can experience the demo and lab flawlessly. You don't have to go here and there. See here. This Nginx is running right now. Nginx is running right now. Okay, so now this is how can you access from outside, but how can we go inside? So guys, I think I need your help to go inside a container. Before that, let me write it, all these commands which I run. So 38. After this command, I run and pasted it. Okay. Don't run. Try to run just blindly. Okay. It's not good. If you don't understand the command, even though you get output, is just it has no meaning of it. Okay. So that's a thing. So you can call, get this stuff. You can access. Now how can you go inside a pod container from outside? So forget about the pod, guys. Tell me, how can you go inside a container? How can you go inside a container?
With that interactive option is there.
So tell me, give me the commands. That's all.
Docker minus site.
Docker exe.
Docker exec IT.
Docker
Exec.
Minus IT or
IT and
email
container.
name of the container.
Okay, and then
The command if you want bash or
which
something.
command?
You can have
It
bash.
has to be bash.
Yeah.
It has to be bash. It has to be shell. Any other commands, you know?
Docker run minus IT and image name.
Docker run
-IT and
here
the
image name. No, sir, run means creating a container, but I have created a container already, so run is not applicable. No, run always create a container from the image, correct? Now, so that is not applicable. Any one more command, guys? I don't know whether you tried it or not, but there's one or more option, Docker attach. Okay, so you can go inside and you become container by attaching it. You can become container. To become container, that means become a container. I'll not complicate that. I have explained that in my videos. Please watch this. Okay, so both the ways you can do that, guys. If you know that, this wonderful, you don't need to know anything else, because commands is same. You just convert this kubectl and kubectl. Now if you don't know the difference between exec and attach, it's a very important question, by the way. You should know. So Docker exec and attach. Yes, kubectl command will help you to do the same behavior as Docker, because yes, pod is a wrapper. You cannot go inside a pod, but container is a physical form. You can go inside a container. So can I go inside a container? So let's do that. Here container ID will be replaced with the pod name. So kubectl get pods -n Rajesh. I am going to list out what is the name of this here. So here I am going to write my pod name, and -n is equal to Rajesh, and here where are you? Where are you?
Container.
You are inside a container, guys. You see here, PS is not there, ls. See here, you are inside a container. Look at this. Now what do we do? Come out of it. Done. Now I want to try this one.
So Rajesh, one question here. So if a pod has many containers, how do you choose which container to go in?
Very good questions. Just give me a few seconds. Let me complete attach, then I'll talk. Very good questions, actually. Okay, so here kubectl attach, guys. Kubectl attach will you become container. That means what you are right now. I am shell right now. I'm a bash. You see here, this is what I am right now. Okay, But if you attach to the container, okay, if you attach to the container, what you will become? Let's check it out. So kubectl get what? Get pod -n is equal to Rajesh, and here kubectl attach which one? This pod. If attach and which namespace? Rajesh. Okay, so if I attach, I am shell right now, I become what? I become nginx. You see here, I become nginx. Where are you right now? You are on the nginx console. You become that guy. So how do I see that whether it's nginx or not? Duplicate session, CentOS, okay, kubectl get pods. Look at this here, kubectl get pods -n is equal to Rajesh -o wide, and you see here what is the IP address. Look at this, curl http dot and see, if I send the request, it should generate the response. See, request, 1 request, 2 request, 3 request. That means I am on nginx console. So you become that guy. So yes, in a container you can have it anything, and you become. So attach will become. So if I do Control C, I'll come out of it, and right now get. So guys, this is the way you can use that container. Use the container. So guys, these are the commands I run to here to understand this. Okay, and some of the commands I run here also. Here. So guys, did you understand that how to use the container pods manually? Make sense, guys? Hello.
Yes.
Okay, so now what do you want? Let's learn some few things more. So I want to troubleshooting command. I'm looking for it. Where is that? Where are you? It's here. So I want to copy certain files. Where you want to copy? Inside the pod, of course, inside the container, sorry. So kubectl get pods -n is equal to Rajesh, and here I want to copy certain files here. Can I copy? So there's one file which I'm creating in this touch devopsschool.com. This is the file I created. I love DevOps. Save it. Now this file I'm going to copy inside a container. So kubectl cp. What do you want to copy? This one. Under which pod? This pod. Inside where? OPT. Done. I did it. Now if you don't know, then you know to know using cp-h. Don't forget this pattern. All this example you see here, how many examples you got it? All these advanced examples you got it here. So if you don't know, you can get to know, but I copied. But the question is, how do I see that? So kubectl exec what? Which pod? So I forgot actually pod. Get pods -n Rajesh. Here so here kubectl exec which pod? This pod. What do you want? ls. Where did I copy? I forgot actually. opt. See here, devopsschool.com. It's inside the container of the pod, which is hello pod Rajesh. Sorry. So this is the way I can copy. More copy combination you can get in a -h option. Please try some of those. It's important. Do not try only the one which I'm saying. Try yourself some of the extra commands also, because there are thousands of commands and stuff like that. So how to copy? It's here. So now let's see if something else I can learn from. So here CP I learned, okay, exec I learned, attach I learned, logs I learned, describe I learned, right? So here, except 2 or 3 commands, we have learned most of it. Here we learn edit, delete, get, okay. Here I learned create and stuff like that. So yeah, half of the commands we learn just in 5 minutes. So guys, did you understand this?
Yeah.
Yes.
Now there was one question, and the question was, if there is a 2 containers, how do we go about it? Because here you are writing the pod name, so whether it will go in the first container or second container. That's true. When you write a pod name, guys, do you remember in the pod when we have a multiple containers, what we call it? Do you remember? Guys, do you remember what we call it? We had a discussion on this.
Tightly coupled.
First container is no.
Tightly,
First container.
tightly coupled.
No. First container we always call it main container, and second container we call it sidecar container. Do you remember sidecar main?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, something like that. So remember here, guys, when you exec or attach, you go to the first container, which is the main container. But if you want to go to the second container, then you have to use the name of the container. The question is, how come? Answer is, you only find out because I told you exec. After that, you learn and you tell me if I want to go to the specific container, which are the options I'm going to pass it. Tell me.
Container name.
Guys,
See,
yes.
Yes.
hyphen C.
Container name. See here it says -c. Container name, if omitted, the first container in the pod will be chosen. That's the main container. But if you want to go to the sidecar container, you have to use -c, such as, let's say, kubectl exec, which is a pod, this pod. But which container they want to run in a second sidecar container? What it bin bash, whatever it is. Okay. So -c, simple, just answer to your question, same command with -c and container name. Now the question is, how do I know the container name? Anyone has a clue? I don't know the container name. Anyone has a clue?
Describe.
Yes, describe. Describe will tell you all the containers name, whatever we have. Okay. So guys, I think I have completed the work which I wanted to show you. So what I did, let's recap this thing for the day. Okay, now we all are working with this workstation. Key file, you have it already. Same key file will work. I'll add few more notes. Okay, now we have to explore all these objects today, out of which we explored namespace and pod. Okay, so here we created and work with the get nodes. We work with the API resources. We work with the version. Please get comfortable. Don't move on without understanding. Then I showed you that this monthly, this pattern, which you can apply with every resources, like create, get, edit, apply, delete, every resources. Then we did this namespace creation and deleted it. In fact, here we created. Create command is missing, I guess we have to create it. Then we created a pod. We found out, okay, There was no any option but create through YAML file. Command was not supported. We started working with the pod namespace and all the stuff like that here. And then here we use pod different ways. Be cool, be calm, be slow, and do that with a peace of mind. Don't try to copy paste and try to run it, because each command is been made for my namespace and as per the explanation. So please understand that. I don't want you to follow like a robotic stuff. Now, one more thing which is missing, and that someone has asked me, are you scared of this YAML file? So you must be having questions in your mind. I don't know what should I write. I don't know for each field what are the options available. So if you don't know, then there is one command we should get it, and that let's find out together. So I want to know the field of YAML file which is required, which is optional, which are the all other option available. So I want to know all these things. How do I know that? So can you help me with this? Can you help me with this? Do you see some options here?
Explain.
Explain. So guys, explain command will be showing you documentation of the resources. Yes. So you don't need to ask anyone, just explain. For example, I want to know QCTL, explain what? NS, enter. I got to know fields, API version. Remember, API version, kind, metadata, and spec. So API version, kind, metadata, and spec. Status is runtime environment. Now I want to know what are the options we have in spec. So dot spec. Here we have. Okay, I want to know what we options we have in a template. So NS metadata, sorry, not template, metadata. So here we have these many options. Look at this. Now you see here, which is a data type: map string, cluster name string, integer, string, object will be there, some objects will be there. So these are the data types, guys: string, integer, object, all these are the data type. Now I want to know about the pod. So pod has a more option. Explain pod. See here. Now you want to know what is there in the spec. Type also, everything you have it. Spec. See guys, here you have it. Now everything is optional until you come across one keyword which is called required. So here if I see, look at this, containers required. This object is required. That's the reason I mentioned containers here. If it is not required, no need to mention. So it depends on your requirement. So many options. If you go and explain thousands of options, you get it in each object. Hundreds of options, not thousand. So you have to understand what exactly that is. Service account. You want to know dot service account. This is the options we have. Dot. Let's go into the containers. What options you have? Containers. See, there's many options. Volume devices, volume mountains, working directory. Let's deep dive into the working directory. Or here containers, we have images, right? Or ports. So all this thing, documentation, everything you can get it yourself. Don't need to ask anything. Container port, host port, name, protocol. So this is the way. If you don't know, you can get to know. So simple statement: how to know each API resources and their fields and their fields and their type and required or optional. Answer is this commands. Guys, will you remember this? Will you remember this?
Yes.
Yeah.
So guys, we have worked with the pod now. Let me stop the recording. Okay. So now I'll give you the time for lab also, else it's difficult to continue for all of you also.
This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. So RC stand for replication and controller. So guys, there are two things. We have a replication and another one is controller. So here, when I say replication, it can replicate one pod to many. That is the one thing. You can replicate to one pod to many. And second thing is we can control. So controller, do you remember the controller manager? Controller manager. So controller would make sure that it control the desire of pods is equal to actual number of pods. Actual number of pods. These are the two features which we have. That's the reason we call it replication controller. So it can replicate and it can control. Did you understand the definition of the replication controller API object? Any questions?
Can you repeat this? The replication and the control.
Yeah.
Controller.
Replication means you want to replicate, right? Pods can get scale up, scale down.
Yes,
so you
yes.
can replicate. Yeah. So you
Okay.
can replicate the pod to many. That means when you want, let's say 5 pod to 20. So immediately it has a replication capability. Okay. Now controller will do what? It will always make sure whatever you set, the number of desired pod, it should be matching with the number of actual pod. So that is the job of the controller. Let me remind you, controller manager, which control the controller, this controller also, and this controller will always make sure that the number of pods should be as per the desire. So this is
Okay.
called controller, which always runs in the loop. Controller always runs in the loop.
And it always check the replication count is matching or not.
That's correct. It always check that whether it's matching or not. So now the question is, how can we create a RC? So can you help me out here, because I need some help. So kubectl create -h. I don't know. So do you think RC you can create it? RC quickly, can you please comment? RC, can you create it?
Yeah, maybe through YAML file.
No, right?
Replica.
No.
So through command line, you cannot create RC because I don't have that option in my help things. So what do we do in this case? So in this case, we will create through YAML again. Pod also we created through YAML, and RC also we are creating through YAML. Now the question is, why RC is not allowed to create through command line? So let me tell you guys, this API resources got deprecated. Yes, this API resources got deprecated. It's not removed. It got deprecated, and because of that reason, they removed from the commands option.
To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the 399 plan and grow your skills immensely.
So now why we are using this replication controller? I am using replication controller so I can help you to understand the power of deployment. Okay, so this is only for the learning purpose, though you used to create a replication controller long ago, but we don't do that now. So guys, let me run the replication controller. Look at my code here, each one of you. Here we have version, kind, name. How many replicas? That means two pod will be created of what? This container. And here it's the same. By the way, I changed the image name here. This image name is mine. It's an nginx only, but I just changed the index.html. That's all. Okay. So here I'm creating a replication controller. Look at my screen here. I go to the Rajesh. All of you will create a file inside your directory only. Okay. So vi rc1.yaml. I created this one. Okay. Now what I'm doing right now, kubectl create -f, and what is the one? rc1.yaml -n is equal to Rajesh. Please do not forget Rajesh. And here I created. Can I see that? Get rc. Why this rc is not visible? Any idea?
We have to check in namespace.
Namespace, yes. Please remember that one. So now I got this. You see here, desired to, current to, ready to, 16 age. Now look at this here. kubectl describe. Same command, guys. All this, whatever I taught you, will be same thing. But rc, which namespace? Rajesh. Now you see here, how many replicas you have? Current 2. Desire, how many? It was 2. How many? What is the code status? Now 2 running. It's not in waiting. It's not succeeded. It's not failed. 2 running. And these are the events of RC. Now important thing is, you should check this pod. kubectl get pods. Now you should also, okay, -n is equal to Rajesh, and here you should check these 2 pods. Now you should describe this pod. kubectl describe pod. Same command, guys. I'm not running any new commands. -n is equal to Rajesh, and here you see one thing I would like you to notice, and that is called controlled by. Where is that? See, controlled by. See here. Who's controlling this? Replication controller is controlling. What is the replication controller name? Hello RC. So basically, in the replication controller, this is controlled by this particular pod. This particular pod which I'm showing you right now is controlled by replication controller. Okay, if you create a pod, typical pod which you did it just now before this, so it was not controlled by anything. It was controlled by none. But this pod, it's controlled by this controller. And controller has a 2 feature, replication plus controller, to make sure the design and stuff like that. So this is the important, guys. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you the beauty about replication. So can I do one thing? So I did same follow. You have to do this. Never forget. I created, I read it, I describe it. I'm going to edit now. So I'm going to edit this time. Here rc1. You can do edit also, but this time 2, let's say 5. Okay, 5. And here one, I created 5. Now I'm going to apply. See here, apply. One more thing, guys, important things. All you have to delete the pod which you created, because I saw that 31 pods. That means none of you have deleted the pod. So please delete that. Cleanup should be done. Now here I'm applying this -f rsc -n Rajesh. And guys, you see here, can I see the pod number of pods? See, from the 2 immediately you got 5. So the one which was running, it's still running, no problem. But they created 5 more, actually 3 more. So here, see, all 5 of each is running. So now I got the 5 pod immediately. So this is called, this feature called replication feature. You can edit or apply a change, and you can replicate as many you wanted. Right now I have only 1 node, so that's the reason I'm replicating 5. But in a case of deployment, when we added too many other nodes also, you can do 2, 20, 30, 40 also. Okay, so this is the way you can replicate the node replication. So guys, did you understand this feature now, replication?
Yes.
Okay. Now next feature which I'm going to talk about is controller. So guys, I said controller which controlled by replication controller to make sure that desired has to match with actual. Okay, so can I do one thing? Can I, by accidentally, I will delete some of the pod. In front of you, I'm deleting the some of the pod. kubectl, look at the magic here. kubectl, delete pod. Which pod? So I'm deleting this pod, 4 minutes, the one which he created, and another 4 one, and hyphen n is equal to Rajesh. Okay, now I'm deleting, and you see here, I deleted the age. Look at the age, 4 minutes. Okay, it got deleted, but it takes some time to come out to get the output actually. And you see here, see, look at this replacement. This is the one, and this is the one. So did you see the magic here? Replication controller will make sure that at any cost the number of desires should be matching. So do you remember the cattle business? Do you remember the health, wealth, happiness? So your production is never be down, even though some node is not working properly. Some part of the infrastructure is got down, so it will be replaced with a new pod automatically. Who will do that? Kubernetes is doing that. You are not doing anything. Are you getting my points, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is the feature of replication controller. It can replicate and it can control. You can reduce to 1 also, by the way. So this time I'll do that different way. kubectl edit rc. What is the name of the rc? Hello rc, and hyphen n is equal to Rajesh. Okay, and I'll go here and go to the replicas. Where is that replicas? You have to go a little bit down and look at the replicas, and here you make it 1 also. That's okay. And you see that immediately rest of the things will be terminated. Look at this, terminating. That's what I said. Everything will be done by replication controller, not by you. So they will decide the things has to be and they deleted randomly. You see that it's not like those who came last. It's not like that. They deleted randomly. Just they wanted to make sure that one is running. So guys, did you understand that what is a replication controller? Do you all, any questions, any doubts? I just run the same flow which I explain you with a pod. Anyone? Any questions? Hello, can you hear me?
No questions from mine.
Okay, so now I'm giving you my code which I run in front of you to do this. You will do the same thing and play with replication controller, which I'm updating the notes here.
Please enroll our general membership for $399 plan to get access of all the parts.
Along with that, you can access our other tutorials such as Docker, Ansible, Jenkins, Terraform, Splunk, AWS, Azure, and various other DevOps related premium tutorials with our channel membership. If you would have any issues with our channel membership, you can drop an email to us at contact@devopsschool.com, or you can also unsubscribe from channel membership anytime if you don't want to continue or did not like the video. To get our channel membership, click onto the join button, select the $399 plan and grow your skills immensely.
Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest.
Thanks for watching.